Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung Professional Rock Podcast. Guys, tonight I had the privilege of sitting down with a man who represents everything that professional wrestling is supposed to be about: toughness, dedication, and earning respect the hard way. My guest is a veteran of the wrestling business who has shared the ring with some of the best talent in the world, from tearing it up at NWA Wildside to competing to the national stage in total nonstop action wrestling. He built a reputation as one of the most reliable and hardest working wrestlers in this era. Known to fans as the Messiah of Spinebusters, he is a multi-time champion and someone who paid his dues every step of the way. The kind of wrestler promoters trusted, the kind of opponent other wrestlers respected, and the kind of competitor who helped make every locker room he stepped in better. Today, we're going to talk about his journey through the wrestling business, the stories from the road, the moment that defined his career, and the lessons he's learned along the way. It's a truly an honor to welcome veteran professional wrestler David Young. David, how are you, my friend? David, can you hear me? You there?
I have no sound. I can't hear anything on my end.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Drop and come back. Sorry about that. Dave is having some technical issues. Hopefully, we can get this podcast going tonight. Hopefully, Dave will join back, and maybe that will fix the issue. Let's see if we can get this going. This is what happens when you do stuff live. Not everything always goes as planned or perfect. One second, guys. Again, David is having some technical difficulties. Let's see if we can get him back and fix the issue. Bear with me one moment. Everything was working before we went live. Just 1 second, guys. Again, guys, bear with us. We're experiencing some tough technical difficulties. I'm trying to get back with David to see if he can come on. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, David, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you
All
hear
right,
me?
guys. Yeah, thanks our viewers for being patient with that. Again,
I'm so sorry, man.
no, man, look, when you do stuff live, stuff like this happens. So again, those who are joining us, David Young, he is a professional wrestler. He's a veteran in the business, total nonstop action, NWA Wildside. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. Actually, I was just in the back of this show. I'm at a Laureato show with uh, Luke Gallows and
Oh, that's awesome.
Sal Renaro is here, and we were actually just like that's why I'm late because I was standing there back there giving road trip stories with Sal back and forth.
That is awesome. Well, talking about professional wrestling, it seems like you knew from a very early age that you wanted to get into the business. I think you've said that you knew since the age of 5 that you wanted to be a
Yeah,
professional
that's all
wrestler.
I ever wanted to be. I never wanted to be anything else. Like my entire life was dedicated just to be a professional wrestler. Like in my school life, everything was just dedicated to working out and trying my best to be able to get into the wrestling business. And honestly, I got into it by an accident. Like a friend of mine was at an indie show and he was like, "Hey, I'm doing security at the show. You want to come and help me do security?" And I said yes, of course, because I was in high school. And then I show up, and the next thing you know, like I'm training the next week, and I was
Wow.
16 years old.
Wow. Mikey Unification says, "Hey David, it's Mike, buddy. Thanks for joining us, Mike. I appreciate it, my friend." Now, at 5 years old, I mean, was there a particular professional wrestler that you just connected to that made you realize at that
Yeah,
age?
Mr. Wrestling number two. Like he was my hero. Like when I was
Awesome.
5 years old, like that was the thing for me. Like I was there for like the TBS days, and like Ric Flair, Mr. Wrestling number two, like Gordon Soley, like all of that was just my dream. Like all I ever want. I could not watch it. Like I had to see it on TV every week. Like
Right.
and as I got older, like when I first started wrestling, like there used to be Joe Pedicino used to have oh man, it was like a 14-hour block of wrestling. Like it was just five different wrestling shows, and one of them was North Georgia Championship Wrestling, which I had the pleasure of actually working for. And that was literally like 4 years into my wrestling career before I ever made it that far. Like,
Wow.
and I didn't think I should make it that far. New Jack literally came to me and he was like, "Hey, you're good. You should come to North Georgia and talk to these guys." And he's the one who got actually had me come in the door. And
Yeah.
like, and I think me and New Jack had several matches that turned into like legendary things.
Right. Now, going back to when you were a kid, what was your family, your parents' reaction to you saying, "Oh, I want to be a professional wrestler"? I mean, because little kids say a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, I never had a dad like growing up.
Right.
Like I didn't have a dad. I just had my mom. And my dad left when I was probably six, maybe six,
Wow.
7, and all I had was my mom. But she really hated me being a wrestler. She hated every second of it. Like literally, I would come home and I would have blood all over my shirt and all over me, and she'd be like, "You need to quit this. You're really gonna get hurt. You're doing too much." And I was like, "No, no, I'm fine. I'll be fine. It's not a big deal. This is just part of it." But
Right.
yeah, no, I mean, that's all I've ever wanted to do. Like, I mean, when you have a dream, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you don't go out and try to live your dreams, then you failed. Like, if
Absolutely.
you're not willing to go out and fail at something, even if I had failed, even if I had never made it further than I went, I at least tried.
Right.
And that to me, that means more than somebody that doesn't even want to give it a chance.
I, you
Like, you
know,
can want to be a million things, but if you
right.
don't try to be that, then it's your fault.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not that. Nothing held you back but you.
Right. Right. Man, I was raised by my father who told me that if you don't fail, or if you're scared to do something, it is better to be a failure than to have not done anything at all. Because at
Yeah,
least you can say,
and
"Well, at
I've
least I
always
tried."
been that guy. Like I would
Right.
rather be afraid and dive straight head first into
Yeah.
something that I don't know what's gonna happen
Right.
than to like not try. Like I
Yeah.
mean, pro wrestling to me was like, and I'll be honest with you, man. There was times that I took one step forward and got knocked backwards 15 steps. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of times where I felt like this was never going to happen. This is not going to be something that I want to pursue. But at the same time, you have to be willing to make the sacrifices to do this business. Like in this
Right.
business, if you're not willing to dedicate everything to this, then it's not going to give back to you. But when it does start giving back to you, like for those times when you think it's over. And literally, this has happened to me. Like I've been like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. And then the next day, I would get a tour to Japan, and then I would go to Japan and come back, and I'd be totally renewed and be ready to do something big after that. So I
Right.
mean, it's baby steps. Like you can't doubt yourself. You have to
Right.
literally get out there and fight for everything you got to get in this business. But if you don't
Now,
try, then it's
right.
on you. It literally is on you.
Right. Now, you said that, your father left when you were young. I had my dad growing up in my life, but my dad was always working,
Right.
always working. And because of that, I found myself growing up always trying to get his attention, right? Now, even though
Mhm.
your dad wasn't in your life, did you go through that? That maybe if I do this, it will bring him back. I'll know that he's proud of
I
me.
didn't necessarily think it would bring him back, but I would at least hope that he would have been proud of me. Like I mean, my dad's still alive today, and
Right.
we don't talk that often. Like maybe once a year, maybe. I mean, I've literally been at a gas pump,
Mhm.
and my dad be at the other gas pump, and we didn't speak, and he didn't recognize me, I guess. But I mean, uh, I don't know, man. Like I love my dad. I mean, I really do. I love my dad,
Of
and
course.
I think there's never going to be a day where I'll tell you I don't love my dad.
Right.
But he was just never a part of my life. Like he was just never there for any of the big events in my life. He was never there for anything that I ever did. So I just never based anything for him. Like I just concentrated on me. Like I had a goal. I had something I wanted in my life, and I refused to not let that happen. And every door that got shut in my face, it would open up three other doors. So I
Right.
mean, you just have to find different venues and different ways to get to where you want to be.
Right. Now, I want to go back to you being a kid and growing up in Chatsworth, Georgia. Now, I'm a Southern boy. I grew up, born and raised in Louisiana. I eventually ended up landed in Minnesota, where married.
I'm so sorry.
I drew. Hey, we are right now in the middle of getting ready to move to Florida, man.
Oh, yeah, Florida's
But my
beautiful. Yeah.
my had kids. My kids are here, and I noticed them growing up in a place that's not in the South, so much different. And in many ways, I almost feel bad because growing up as a Southern kid, there's just so much, it seems like more to enjoy. Tell me about your childhood in Chatsworth, Georgia. What kind of kid were you?
Well, we didn't move to Chatsworth until I was probably 12. Like I
Mhm.
lived in Tennessee, East Tennessee, until I was 12, and to me, that's always going to be home. Like East Tennessee is just paradise to me. Like I've been all over the world. I've been to Japan, I've been to Germany, I've been to Australia, I've been to the UK. Nothing to me is more beautiful than the East Tennessee mountains. Like I can go up to the Smoky Mountains and I'm just at peace. Like I'm at home. I'll go rent a cabin in Gatlinburg with my family, and like I'm just happy to be there. Like that's just me. And the little things in life make me happy. Like man, I can go camping and be out of the signal where my phone doesn't work, and it's just me and the grizzly bears and the snakes. And
Right,
I'm just happy doing something like that
right,
outside. I mean, that's my fun zone for me. I really love doing stuff like that.
right.
But growing up was like there wasn't a lot of opportunities in Tennessee, and my
Mhm.
mom, she couldn't find work in Tennessee, and then she found work in Georgia, working in carpet mills for Dalton, Georgia, and my mom is the most hardworking person I've ever met in my life. Like I have more respect for my mom than anybody in this world. My mom has been everything to me. Like she is, and still today I call her as much as I can and just
Mhm.
check on her just to make sure she's okay and that she's doing all right. But I mean, my mom would work 16-hour days just to make sure we had food on the table, and she would a roof over our heads. And I mean, and even though she was my biggest deterrent, and she would be like, "You're not gonna make it. You're just wasting your time. You're just getting hurt." Then once I get on pay-per-views and I'm like on TV every week, then she's like, "This is my son. This is my son right here. This is him over here. This is my boy." So I mean, I had those moments too. So I mean, yeah, no, my
Right.
mom was my life, and growing up in Chatsworth, I liked it. I mean, like I had like I was a horrible child. I don't know how my mom dealt with me. Like I was so rebellious, and like I was like literally like sneaking off and drinking at 13, and me and my friends just did crazy things, and we would just like somebody give us a 6 pack of beer, and we'd go off in the mountains and drink it, just like do stupid stuff all day. But how she dealt with me growing up, like she's probably the strongest person I've ever met in my life.
Right. Mikey wants to know, says, hey, David, how do you feel about making appearances at Comic Cons or other events where wrestling fans gather, like conventions and such?
I do Dragon Con every year in Atlanta. Like that's my favorite show of the year. And I just did WrestleCade this past year with my girlfriend, Tracy Taylor, or Kalaki from WoW.
Yeah.
And we just did WrestleCade this past year, and I really loved that. Like that was amazing, and I got to see a lot of people I haven't got to see in 100 years, like Steve Carino, and like it was just like a family reunion. So I really love doing all of those things. To be honest with you, I mean, the more the merrier.
Right. Now you talked about how there's times that you thought that you're going to fail and then doors open up.
Uh-huh.
Was there times that it wasn't even necessarily because you thought that you're about to fail? Maybe you're successful, but something was happening that you just thought that, man, this wrestling thing just isn't realistic.
You know what? When we were in TNA, there was always some kind of drama. Like, I mean, and behind, I mean, what you see on TV and what you see behind the scenes is totally different. Like, there's so many politics in wrestling. Um, like when we left TNA, me and Elix Skipper, and we were with Simon Diamond, and he was our manager. Like, we were going to win the world tag team titles from AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. And it was going to be one of those things where we like do a taping on Monday and Tuesday, and we were going to win them on Monday and we were going to lose them on Tuesday, which on TV looks like we held them for a week. And Rhino did the same thing. He won it on a Monday and then he lost it the next day. And it's just on TV it looks like you've held the belt for a week and so on and so forth. But like the day we got there, I go look at the board, and it had us against Chase Stevens and Shark Boy, and we were both losing in 2 minutes.
Wow.
And I was like, "What in the hell? I mean, what in the hell could possibly be happening now?" So I go to Simon Diamond, which was the agent on the match, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Go get Elix. We need to talk." So I pulled him to the side. And I got Elix, and we walked over there, and he said, "Okay, you're both going to get pinned same time Shark Boys finish." And I was like, "Screw that. No, absolutely not. We would kill Dean in a fight. I mean, we really would. Like, there's no way that Shark Boy's going to pin both of us at the same time." I said, "Go tell Jeff. We will both take the finish." I said, "I will take the finish." I said, "Keep Elix completely out of it. I'll take the finish, and we'll just end it that way." And he said, "No, I was told to tell you specifically that if you don't like your finishes at this company anymore, you should tell your partner to stop asking for a raise." So we both just asked for our release that day. Like, I
Wow.
mean, why would we keep going if
Right.
him asking for a raise had everything to do with our push?
Right. And you know what? Let me ask you something about this because what you said fascinates me because I've had friends of mine who are professional wrestlers, veterans,
Huh?
WCW guys WWE. That I'll give you an example. Recently, Obafemi was booked in a match against the War Raiders, a tag team that is former champions.
Right.
He went and it's a squash match. He against both of them. Now, as a fan, when I see something like this, what goes to my mind is not only are you making the War Raiders look bad, but now you're making every team they've beaten look weak that's held the title. But I have professional wrestlers, and I really have a problem debating people who are actually in the ring. Here I am a fan. What the hell do I know? But who says, well, who cares? Because as long as you're on television, you're getting paid. Wins and losses and the hows and whys really don't matter. But then I've had other pro wrestlers say kind of what you said. Yeah, this guy's couldn't really beat me. Why would I lose? Do you think it
Well, it
matters?
wasn't even that we were losing. It was the
Right,
fact that he was pinning both of us at the same time.
right,
And I don't care who wins. I don't give a shit
right,
if the referee pins me with an eye rake. And that's
Right.
a line I stole from Road Dogg. So, I mean, like,
Right.
Road Dogg literally said, I don't give a shit if the referee pins me with an eye rake as long as it makes sense,
Mhm.
as long as it tells a good story, and as long as it means something when you do it. I don't care about losing. Nobody gives a shit about losing in this business as long as it adds to the story and it means something when you do it. And if it doesn't, it's pointless in doing it.
Right. Right. Mike says amen, KG. Um, when it comes to championships, I've had some wrestlers who actually care that they're champions. I've had others that tell me, it's a prop. Where do you fall with this?
It is a prop. I mean, it really is. Like, at the end of the day, it's just something that makes your bag heavier. But the fans think it means something, so therefore you have to make. I've always said that the belt doesn't make the wrestler makes the belt.
Mhm.
So it's your job to go out there and make that belt mean something while you're on the road. And I mean, I don't think you should go out there and like do anything that would make that belt look like it's less, prestigious than it is.
Right. Right. I remember the very, and people who listen to this regularly have heard the story 1,000 times. The very first time I was emotionally connected was when Mid South Match, Junkyard Dog, Ted DiBiase, they were friends at the time, but Ted DiBiase, first time I ever seen him wear that loaded glove, turn on JYD. First time I ever felt hate as a young kid for professional wrestling. They did what they were supposed to do. When was the first time you remember feeling that emotion watching professional wrestling?
Probably when Ron Garvin beat Ric Flair for the world title. Like I remember just going crazy watching the TV, jumping up and down. And it wasn't even so much that I loved Ron Garvin that much. It was that I hated Ric Flair that much. Like I really wanted to watch Ric Flair lose. And it was, and I love the fact that they made him carry that belt for 100 years. And then when he did lose, it meant so much more if somebody beat him. And Ricky Steamboat is probably one of my heroes in the
Mhm.
wrestling business. Like I love watching anything Ricky Steamboat related because he sold so well. I always said that Ricky Steamboat and Ricky Morton are probably the two greatest baby faces in the pro wrestling business because they sold and they got out there and they made people feel something. I tell every one of our students at our school, and we have a school at New Era Fitness and Wellness in McDonough, Georgia. And I tell everybody in that school, nobody remembers what you did in the match. They remember what you made them feel
Mhm.
when you were in that match. And that's the truth. I mean, there's nothing about a move that means anything. But if you make them feel something and you make them reminisce and they can relate to what you're telling the story about, that's the most important thing about pro wrestling.
Yeah, you talk. Funny story about Ricky Martin. I got to meet him last year in Vegas at the California Alley Club reunion. No, I'm sorry, at FanFest 3
Uh-huh.
in Missouri. And Ricky, what man? I have a beautiful wife. How? I don't know. You see this face. My wife's
I have a
beautiful.
beautiful girlfriend too, and she
And
literally tells me every day that how lucky I am.
yeah, and
Don't you worry about the thing.
Ricky literally walked up to my wife and said, if this was 20 years earlier, you'd be all about me. Now, I'll be honest, if I was a regular guy, there might have been some issues. Because it was Ricky Morton and because
Yeah,
he's such a lovable guy, I was like, Ricky Morton freaking kind of hit on my wife, man.
let's be honest. 1986, Ricky Morton could have ran for president and probably won.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm serious. He was that over in 1986. Like,
Yeah,
if he ran for president, I would have voted for Ricky Morton.
right.
Yeah.
Right. David, if you could go back to a younger you when you first got into the business,
Yes.
what would be the thing that you'd say, look, man, I don't care what else you listen to, make sure you listen to this part that you didn't know?
Uh, I would not have been as dedicated. Like, okay, so when I started, I felt as though wrestling was just my hobby.
Mhm.
Like it wasn't something that I was ever going to make it in. It wasn't something that I was ever going to be somebody in. I just felt like it was a hobby and it was going to be something that would fulfill my dream. And when it started becoming something that I could actually make a living in and I could actually do something in and actually progress, that's when everything changed for me. Like for me, like Bill Behrens, and I can't say enough good things about Bill Behrens. Bill Behrens fought for me when there was nothing to fight for. Like literally in TNA, like Bill Behrens would fight for me every week. And Dutch Mantel, I can't say enough good things about Dutch Mantel. Dutch Mantel thought the world of me, and like he saw something in me that I didn't even see. Like
Right.
Jeff Jarrett would have fired me the first 2 weeks. There was a time I went to TNA and I got fired from TNA several times. Don't even think that it meant something to me by the time I actually left, because there was like 3 or 4 times. Like I showed up one time and literally I was reading the kayfabe sheets back in the days when you just had to have the
Right.
hard copy of the kayfabe sheets. And Meltzer was like, David Young released from TNA. And I'm at the damn TNA show when I read that and had no clue I was being released. So, I
Wow.
mean, there's several different things about this business that I could tell you that was discouraging, but at the same right, like Bill Behrens made me. Like, he's the one that got me the NWA World Tag Team titles with Rick Michaels. We held those 3 different times. And that opened so many doors. Like, there was just the NWA World Tag Team titles opened so many different NWA territories for us. We went to Kansas, we went to New York, we went to, I mean, you just name it. We went to every place we could possibly go because, what, like I said earlier, the belt doesn't make you, you make the belt.
Right.
And at the time, the belt was probably at its lowest point that it had ever been. Like, people weren't just paying attention to the NWA. So we went out there and we just went on the road. And there were times we made $50 a night and we were driving to Dallas, Texas, and we would leave Dallas, Texas and go straight to Nashville. And then I mean, it was just like nonstop, and we were making zero money, but we were making those belts mean something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, you really need somebody in your corner. And I'll be honest with you, AJ Styles. I can't say anything bad about AJ Styles. Like, I love Alan. Me and him have been friends since he started. I remember when he first broke into business and Rick Michaels trained him. Like, he came into Wildside and I was already there. Like, I remember AJ coming in the door. And me and AJ were working each other on a regular basis. And it'd been when I won the NWA Wildside title, and me and him were fighting for the title, and we were doing it everywhere. We went to Tampa, we went to, you just name it, we went to places, and the NWA Wildside title was on the line. So we're leaving Tampa one day and we're on our way to Nashville, and we were going to do the Tojo Yamamoto Memorial Show. And on just before we got there, AJ looked at me and goes, okay, look, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but Jerry Jarrett's going to be there tonight. He's looking at me for a show called TNA. And he said, we have to have a good match. He said, we have to have the best match we've ever had. So we get to the show, and Burt Prentice is running the show. And we are in the back, and we're calling the match. Just me and AJ are standing there talking to each other. And Burt Prentice comes in with Jerry Jarrett, and they step in between us with their backs to me. And they introduce AJ to Jerry Jarrett. And then Burt Prentice turns to me and he goes, David, could you go get Chris Harris for me? I was like, sure, no problem. I never got to go, hi, how you doing? Shake Jerry Jarrett's hand and say, you know, my name's Dave. There was none of that kind of thing. So, I mean, I brought Chris Harris, and they introduced Chris Harris to him because he was going to be the big thing that Burt wanted to push, and AJ was the big thing that Burt wanted to push. So we go out there, we have the match, and we did a match that we'd done at Wildside where we went 25 minutes. And we went to a time limit draw, and we wrestled pretty much for 25 minutes. And you can probably still watch the match on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
And after the 25 minutes, we asked for 5 more minutes, and we did 5 minutes of nothing but high spots, moonsaults into the crowd, just the craziest flippy. And we went to another time limit, and we just called it at that. And as soon as I stepped through the curtain, Jerry Jarrett grabbed me by the arm and pulled me outside and offered me a contract too. So me and AJ were the first 2 contracts ever signed for TNA.
Wow.
Ever. So, I mean.
This is what I love about AJ, and why I will always consider him in the same conversations as all of the greatest, is because And this just happened to him. He had a match right before, a couple of matches before his retirement match. I can't remember what match it was, but he
Uh-huh.
was about to do his finisher and he slipped off the top rope. And this is what makes AJ great. Instead of acting like it didn't happen, he actually sold it like he was hurt. And they were
Right.
able to get the match going. And that's what made it great because it always tell people this. If you're fighting for real, if you watch two people really fighting, it ain't pretty, right?
Well, so
And
that's
for
what
him
Bill
to do
Behrens
that
loved about me
shows,
and AJ is like
uh,
we would make mistakes on purpose in the
wow,
match and make it look like they were real mistakes, even though, and Bill Behrens loved that. Like we
right.
would actually make the mistake as part of the match. So,
Yeah,
I
see,
mean, and AJ
yes,
still does that to this day. And I guarantee you, he probably made
right.
that mistake on purpose. It wasn't that
Well,
he actually made a
yeah,
mistake.
that's how good he is then,
Yeah.
because it adds legitimacy to the fight. Because like I said, whenever you're fighting someone, it's not pretty, man. If you watch a video, it's sloppy, you do shit. But yeah, he's one of the greats. Did you ever see when you first met AJ Styles?
Uh huh.
Did you see or imagine that he would go to the levels that he went to?
I knew he was special. Like everybody knew he was special, and like you had to see the drive that he has. Like he would literally, and he did this for me. Like me and him would meet at the Wildside building, and he would just run. Me and him would run drills, just nonstop, blow up, throw up in the garbage can drills until he got me in shape to be able to work him.
Right.
And I felt that I had to bring my level up to him, and at the same right, he would bring his level down to me. So I mean, if anything, I probably slowed him down, which is
Mhm.
probably a good thing because in this business, less is more.
Right.
But AJ is like the only reason I ever made anything in this business. I can't give anybody else any credit for anything. Like Alan Jones, I love him. Like he's like my little brother, and there's nothing that he could ever ask me for that I would not do. Like,
Your favorite opponent and why?
let me think. The best match I ever had in my entire career was me and AJ Styles and Adam Jacobs in a three-way in Ring of Honor. And I can't really say why it was such a great match because it was so many things that went wrong in that match. Like I literally like slammed AJ's head into the apron, and I there was a steel bar on the side of the ring, and he hit so hard that he split his forehead open.
Wow.
And if you watch the match, the camera when I slammed his head into it, a spot of blood literally lands on the camera.
Oh,
Like you can see that he
right.
was bleeding profusely. And Adam Jacobs did the flip off the top rope and landed on me, and then picks me up and he goes, "Well, you've killed Alan. You killed him. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for messing everything up." And he throws me in the ring. He goes, "Well, what are we gonna do? Alan's dead. Alan's dead. He's dead, Dave. He's never coming back in the ring again." I said, "He'll be here. He'll be here." And sure enough, right there he was, right where he's supposed to be, and we both punched him at the same time, and we just went into the next spot. But I
Yeah.
mean, like there was just that may be the best match I've ever had in my entire career. And
I've heard other wrestlers talk about that, when they're having a match, a lot of times they try to get their opponent to break, to laugh. How do you handle something like that whenever you're in the ring with a jokester and here you are, you're supposed to hate this guy and he's saying shit that makes you want to laugh?
I'm usually that guy. I'm usually that guy that's trying to make other people laugh. Like I'm literally telling jokes while we're in the ring, and literally like if they have me in like a chin lock or something like that, I'm literally like telling a joke while they're doing that. Like I'm literally that guy trying to make people break character through the match.
Talk
I
to
don't
me about,
I don't have any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Pride. I mean, there's nothing in wrestling that I'm not willing to do
right,
to make people laugh. Like
right,
to me, the funny is the best part of the show, and it feels to me like it's the most entertaining part. Like
right.
I just want to be somebody that walks out there and people remember me when they walk out that night, and they're like, "Damn, that guy was funny. That was stupid that he did that, but it was hilarious that he did." And I do that in real life. Like there's certain things that I would do in real life just on the road that I would do it just to have the story to tell.
Right.
Later on that
Right.
day, like we were doing motion caption for WWE. We were doing motion caption for the WWE video games. I did that for like 5 years
Wow.
after I left TNA, and I was in Hollywood. We were in Culver City, California, and they put us in a 5-star hotel, and they were shooting a movie in the hotel, and they like put cones on all of the parking spots just for the actors and the
Mhm.
stunt people. And we couldn't find a place to park when we come in that night from the restaurant. And I was so mad I got out and I started throwing all the cones into the trees. Mike Mondo to this day talks about David Young really hates cones. He said, they're throwing the cones in the streets.
Talk to me about, professional wrestlers literally sacrifice their bodies for the business.
We do. It's not will you get hurt, it's when will you get hurt.
Right.
I mean, you're going to get hurt.
Right. Talk to me about a time that maybe you felt like professional wrestling betrayed you.
You know what? I can't blame wrestling for anything that happened to me because I did it.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, there's no move that I didn't try to do. Like, I've had both knees replaced and had herniated disc C5 and 6. I broke a disc in my lower back. I've had sciatica and I couldn't walk for a month. I mean, there's been a lot of different injuries I've had because of pro wrestling. But I don't blame any of that on wrestling. Like, that's just part of the game. Like, if you do this business, you're going to get hurt. I
Right.
mean, there's no if you come into this business thinking you're not going to get hurt, you're in the wrong business. I mean,
Right.
there's just no way that you're not going to get hurt. There's always going to be an injury. There's always and it's always going to come at the worst time. Like you see Jordan Grace just broke her ankle and right before
Yeah.
WrestleMania. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's always doing something that you didn't think was a big deal. Like it was just, like the first time I blew my knee out, I did a leapfrog over a guy, and he was just going for a backdrop. And I leapfrog over him and land on my feet, and my entire shin bone popped out of my leg and popped back in, and
Right.
tore my ACL and my PCL. And I literally had to crawl on my stomach to the dressing room. I couldn't walk because my knee swelled up to the size of a watermelon in 2 seconds. And as soon as I went through the curtain, Tracy Smothers comes running up and he goes, "Is this real?" I said, "Yeah, bro, I'm really hurt." He goes, "I got you." And he runs out and he took my place in the match. Like Tracy Smothers was the main event on that show, and he went out and took my place
Right.
just because I was hurt. So I mean, I'm gonna be a Tracy Smothers guy until the day I
Right.
die. Like I loved Tracy Smothers. He was so nice to me and so sweet to me, and just like one of the best people I ever met in my life.
Right. Since I've started doing this podcast, amongst the other million people doing wrestling podcasts, I think the one downside is I've been fortunate enough to make friends with a lot of people in the business. But part of that is when you're around them, they're talking about business. And as a fan, I hear things I don't want to hear, things that, inside stuff. As a fan, when you first got into the business, did you feel that way? Did you feel like, oh, I don't want to hear this because
Well, I mean, I always suspected things before I ever got into the business. Like you always suspect that
right,
things aren't
right,
real and so on and so forth. And I started in '89, so in '89, nobody knew for sure if wrestling was real or not. Like you had seen the things where what's his name slapped the reporter. What was his
yeah,
name?
I just met him last year too. Schwartz, I think.
Yes, I mean when he slapped that guy, I mean
Right.
everybody questioned everything after that. And but I mean I don't know. Once I got into it, like I'm gonna be honest with you, I have met more people that are dangerous in the wrestling business than
Mhm.
I have ever met in any other sport. Like I've wrestled New Jack countless times, and there were times where I literally thought this is not gonna end well. Like I was like literally like one night we were in a show in downtown Atlanta and it was at a bar, and they were like, "Hey, nobody can bleed at this show because we serve food." So me and New Jack go out there, and we're both bleeding buckets. Like we're just both just covered in blood. Like I'm bleeding to death. New Jack is bleeding to death, and literally, like the promoter is so mad, he's just like fuming watching the match, and we end the match. And New Jack asked for the microphone, and he refused to give New Jack the microphone. And Jack literally like pulls out a knife out of his pocket, and he put it to my forehead, and he said, if you don't give me the microphone, I'm going to cut him from one side of his head to the other.
Wow.
And literally, as he's doing it, he leaned down to me and he goes, I'm not going to really cut you. Don't freak out. But he had just done the thing in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Massacre, right.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was selling the video on his gimmick table of him cutting that kid. So I'm just sitting there going, oh, so this is how it ends. This is the way it goes. Well, hell, I never would have saw this coming. So I'm sitting there, and then he's like, they throw in the microphone and he lets me go. Well, I get the hell out of there. I go straight to the dressing room. Well, while he's doing his little promo, him and this guy in the audience get in a fight. And he gets out and he goes after this guy, and the security's between them. And Jack's like, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. And he goes to turn and walk away. Well, when he does, security lets both of them go. And Jack turns around, dives on the guy's back, and he cuts him from one end of his forehead to the other. And then he slams his forehead into the concrete and just starts beating him in the back of the head. And his wife jumps on his back, and he flips her into the concrete. And they had to bring an ambulance for her. And then Jack comes straight in the dressing room, and he gets the knife. And they had like a tarp for a wall, and he cuts a hole in the tarp, and he throws my bag and his bag out in the street, and he goes, David Young, we're going to the strip bar. Let's go. And we left. There was no legal consequences. There was nobody that ever came to us and said, hey, you did this, you did that. But yeah, that's how the night ended. We went to the strip bar, and we both had concussions, and we don't remember talking to each other.
Wow. You carried the name Messiah of the Spinebuster.
Yes, sir.
Who gave you that nickname?
Dan Wilson, the announcer for Wildside. He came up with that, and it just stuck like glue. Right. And honestly, I don't know how things stick in wrestling. Like the Messiah, the Spinebuster stuck with me, and for some reason, Bill Apner put something down that I was trained by somebody, and I can't remember who he said I was trained by, but it was nowhere near who I was trained by. And that stuck for years. Like I literally and he told me, he literally put down that I had my real name was something different than what it was. And that stuck for years. So it took like 5 years to make that go away.
Now, let's talk about the nickname Messiah of the Spinebuster. Obviously, it's because you're using the Spinebuster. Did you feel like, although that's a cool nickname to have, that put this added pressure on your shoulders to do the perfect Spinebuster now?
I didn't try to do the perfect Spinebuster. My Spinebuster was different from everybody else's because if you watch my matches, I always go to the right. Okay, everybody that does a Spinebuster goes to the left. Even Arn Anderson, like they always go to the left. I go to the right. I take them up, and then I throw my shoulder into it, and I drive them with everything I have to the right side. And I think that's what makes it look so different from everybody else's, because I had knee surgery, and I couldn't pivot on my right knee. Mm-hmm. So I had to pivot on my left knee, and that's why I always went to the right.
Earlier you talked about Mr. Wrestler number 2.
Yes.
Being your favorite, which that's you and I share that common. Mr. Wrestler number 2 and Bob Cook. I for some reason
I've done shows with Bob Cook, and I actually did a podcast with Bob Cook not long ago.
Yeah, he's my co-host. So
yeah.
He's one of my co-hosts.
No, I'm a huge Bob Cook fan. Like Bob Cook was one of my favorite people in WCW, and he was everybody's favorite person in WCW. Right. I started out doing jobs in WCW, and I would go out there and just put people over. I think they said that me and Alex Wright had to work each other like 6 times because I was the only person Alex Wright ever had a good match with at the time. Right. And like Bob Cook was that guy. Like you'd get there, and I remember Johnny B. Bad coming up, and he goes, "Hey, is there any way that me and you could work tonight? Because I told them I would rather work you than anybody else." And he goes, "No, you can go fuck yourself. I'd rather go ahead and just have a night off." I mean, he was literally like, "No, I'll take the night off. I don't need you." Right. So Bob Cook was the guy everybody in that dressing room was requesting to be like, and that's what made him one of my heroes. To be honest with you, like, and Bob Cook would tell you that if he had that and $200,000, he'd at least have $200,000. Right. I mean, it means nothing that I'm he's a hero to me, but I mean, I really, really respect him, and I really respect his work.
Well, I was fortunate enough to become friends with Bob, and he's co-host on my weekly shows that we do, talking about
Right,
the
right.
different. But unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to meet Mr. Wrestler number two. Mr. Wrestler number two.
I did several
You get
shows with him before he actually helped me, and he got me on Joe Pedicino's wrestling shows. Like I was there for Joe Pedicino's Atlanta show, and I think I worked a guy named Keith Hart,
Mhm.
which was doing a ninja gimmick. And we worked each other on that show. But when we got there, they were like, I need you to job out for this guy, and I need you to job out for this guy. And we both went to wrestling too. And we said, I thought we were going to work each other. And he goes, Oh, no, you are. And he went straight to Joe Pedicino and he goes, No, these guys work each other. Let them put their match together. Watch what they can do. And the next thing you know, we're both on TV. And,
well,
you know, wrestling too was like a huge, huge, huge influence for me. And he got me a lot further. Mike, he opened doors for me that, you know, were closed at the time.
right. Now, and I don't want names because I'm not that type of podcast. I like to start shit or drama. That's not me.
Okay.
But I still like to ask questions, right? In your career, has there been someone that you had on a pedestal that you got to meet that really disappointed you? And if so, how did you deal with that and having to work with this person? And again, I'm not asking for names, just the experience.
I don't know if you'd call it disappointment. I mean, I love Dusty Rhodes. Like,
Mhm.
Dusty Rhodes is one of my heroes. But working for Dusty Rhodes in TNA was not the easiest thing in the world for me. Like when he was in charge at TNA, uh, I, TNA you got heat in the stupidest ways.
Mhm.
Like I wasn't on TV for this particular week, and then I get a call at the last minute. Bob Ryder called me and he's like, "Hey, we need you on TV. I'm going to go ahead and book you a flight today." And you know, we were flying out the next morning. So I go to the airport and I have a first class ticket because that's all they could get on that flight. So when I get on the flight and I go sit down in my seat, well, Dusty's in coach. And as soon as Dusty walked by me, Samoa Joe yells, "That's heat. That's heat. You've got heat. There's no way this is going to go away. This is heat." And I'm just sitting there going, God damn it, Joe, shut up. And I get up and I walk all the way to the back and I ask Dusty to come and take my seat. And he's like, No, no, you sit in that seat. But from that day forward, Dusty didn't like me at
Wow.
all. So, I mean, it was just, and that was just my TNA career in general. Like, it
Right.
didn't take much to get heat with people
Right.
there.
Speaking of TNA, did you by chance work with a guy by the name of Kevin Northcutt?
God, yes. Yeah, I loved him. He was such a
So
good worker.
Kevin, back in my younger years, whenever I was in shape, better looking,
Uh-huh.
that bartended on Bourbon Street, his wife, can't remember her name, was one of the
She was
service.
actually one of the cage dancers at the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
So such a great guy, really, really
Yes.
good guy. He really was. I enjoyed talking to him every time he came in.
Never had a bad word to say about Kevin Northcutt. He was always professional every time he came to the shows. Like, he was one of the best guys there.
Yeah. Now you worked with Rick Michaels in a Bad Attitude. What made that tag team click?
We hated each other. That's exactly what made it click. It's just like Ricky and Robert. Like, we really hated being on the road together. Like, we fought constantly, and it was like pulling teeth every time we had a show together. It was that situation. Like, it seems like the best tag teams are the guys that hate each other. But I mean, we get along really good now. Like, me and Rick are actually friends now. But back then, there was always some kind of tension between me and Rick.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Now you're talking about AJ Styles earlier.
Uh-huh.
There was a match that you interfered that helped AJ Styles win the title from Rick Michaels. When did you realize that this story, that moment, would become such a big storyline?
And that led into me working against AJ for the title, didn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second best match in my career is the three-way between me, AJ Styles, and both of the best matches I've ever had in my life have been three-way matches.
Mhm.
And the match with me, Rick Michaels, and AJ is probably the second best match I've ever had in my career. Like, those guys are good, man. I mean, I don't. You can say what you want about Rick in his personal life and everything. But I mean, he could work. Like, he was so good. And the night that I won the belt in that match, like, man, I I don't even know how to explain it. Like, we went out there and we weren't expecting to be as good as we were, but we went out there and tore the house down. And there's still people to this day that talk about that match,
Yeah.
about being the best match they ever saw. And like, I went to WWE and Paul Burchill came up to me and told me that the match in Ring of Honor with me, AJ, and Adam Jacobs was the best match he had ever saw in his life. And that was amazing to me that Paul Burchill even knew who I was. First of all, like, the fact that Paul Burchill knew my name made me feel like I was somebody.
Right.
And then I actually got the chance to tag with him a few times after that. And I'll be honest with you, Paul Burchill has probably been my favorite tag team partner I've ever had.
Wow.
Like me and him had the exact same attitude towards shows. We had the exact same mentality in the business. Like, he was just so awesome to tag with. I loved Paul Burchill. He was awesome.
I know earlier you said that, the belt's a prop in many ways, but at the same time, at least from what I understand, from what's been told to me,
Hmm.
this is the company coming to you and saying, "Hey, we have faith that you can be the face, put asses in seats."
Yeah, and that's true. And that is true. And I also said that the belt doesn't make
Right,
the
right.
man makes the belt.
Well,
Like,
my question though was there a particular belt that meant more to you though, even though it is that prop per se, but because of the company saying, "Man, we need you to be the face,"
my
you
time
know?
at the NWA Wildside heavyweight title was one of my favorite times.
Mhm.
But I loved the fact that we were NWA tag team champions too. Because growing up, I only wanted to be a tag team wrestler. Like, all I ever wanted to be from 5 years old up was the Rock and Roll Express. I wanted to
Right.
be Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. I wanted that. I wanted that mentality. And the Midnight Express. I loved the Midnight Express. And I'm so happy I got to work with Bobby Eaton. I got to work with Dennis Condrey. Like, oh man, Jim Cornette. I can't say enough good things about Jim Cornette. I went and worked for Jim Cornette in OVW, and like, just did a dark match. And literally, I walked in the dressing room when Cornette walked up and hugged my neck, and he said, "Thank you so much for being able to work." And I
Wow.
didn't even know what that meant at the time. I was just like, "Okay."
Right.
But I love Jim Cornette. Like, he's awesome. I mean, every time he sees me, he goes, "Hey, David Young, I watched your first match the other day. It was painted on the side of a cave." I mean,
Yeah. Jim Cornette is the one guy that if I'm ever fortunate enough to interview him because he's one of the best when it comes
yes,
to stuff like that, that's going to be my world title,
yeah.
right? Is being able to talk to because he's so knowledgeable. Your losing streak became famous.
That was
Were
Dutch
you worried
Mantel.
about being typecast
No,
per
not at
se?
all. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, if you walk into this business worrying about winning and losing, then
Mhm.
you've already lost. Like, I mean,
Right.
if you can't make a loss mean something, then who are you in this business? I mean, we're literally going out there and making things entertaining. So me losing every week, I would took that stuff on the road. Like, literally,
Right.
like when I was at an indie show, I'd start my match with, "Do I look like a loser to you?" And I would literally be like, "Do I look like a loser to you? Look at me. Look at me, and then look
Mhm.
at this guy." And I would just literally like start my promos like that. And then I'd slip on a banana peel and lose the match. And it was just, and then I would do this temper tantrum and throw this god awful fit. But no, Dutch Mantel gave me that. And I
Right.
think he did it with, oh God, Ed Hart first in Memphis. And I think that he just passed it off to me. But no, I loved it. I had so much fun with that whole entire gimmick.
Just a couple more questions, my man. Is there a behind the scenes TNA story that fans have never heard of that you're able to share?
Oh, let me think. I mean, man, I had to work Sandman one night, and like, he showed up that day really, really drunk, and he was walking around with a bottle of Jack Daniels the whole day, just drinking it. And he passed out on the floor, and literally we had to step over him in catering
Wow.
just to get to something to drink. And like, Jeff was really, really mad, and he came up to me and he was like, "I need you to blow him up," which I don't think I could have done, to be honest
Right.
with you. There's no way in hell I could have blown him up because my cardio's not that good.
Right.
But we went out there and we had a great match. We really, really did. And but it was weird because literally you're stepping over him all day long, and then all of a sudden, as soon as that bell rings, he's the Sandman. He's like beating the beer can on his forehead, and he's just himself. Like he was
Right.
perfect once he got out there.
Yeah.
But before that, there was a lot of doubts where you were like, "Oh shit, I don't even know if this match is going to happen today."
Yeah. Two more questions for you, my man.
Okay.
In professional wrestling in general, was there someone who stepped up that tried to elevate you that you just did not expect that at all from this person?
AJ did. Like AJ Styles elevated me. Like I remember one night in TNA, we had some kind of battle royal where two people come in, one person comes in at a time, and like he literally went to all the guys and he was like, "Hey, I need you guys to make David look really good in this," and he did. Like I was out there with the SATs and I was doing like ungodly like high spots with those guys, and I can't. Those SATs are like amazing.
Right.
Like they did stuff that I didn't even know I could do, and I did it with them. And like, yeah, AJ helped me a lot. Like he literally, like he would be like, "Please show the office that he can work and that
Right.
he's good and that he." I mean, yeah, AJ helped me a lot. Like I can't say enough good things about Alan. Like Alan is like one of my best friends in the world, and I love him. I really do. I love him. I love his wife. I love his kids. I mean, I love all of them. Like they're amazing.
David, say that you decided after this podcast interview is over with, you decided that, you know what? I never want to be in the public's eye again. I never want to do another interview again. This was it.
Uh-huh.
What would be the last thing that you would want fans to remember you by?
Probably just the fact that I refuse to say no. I like, I refuse to quit. Like, there was no way I was not going to make it in this business and do something. Like,
Right.
go somewhere. I mean, I'm not the most well known person in the world anymore. I'm not the most famous person in the world anymore. But I've done things that people actually read about in books. I've gone places that people have never gone, and I've seen things that people have never seen. So, I mean, I've had an amazing life. I have no complaints about wrestling. Wrestling made my life what it is today, and I feel like I'm a better person because of wrestling.
Right. David, I appreciate you taking your time out because I know you're a busy guy. Look, there are so many questions I didn't even get a chance to get to because you're more than a professional wrestler. You're an actor. We didn't even get a chance to touch on that. So I would love for you to come back on the podcast one day.
Sure.
I really, really would. Thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to promote to get out there?
Honestly, there's not. I don't do anything wrestling related anymore. My girlfriend is amazing. Like she is like
Yep.
on WoW, and she's Kalaki on WoW,
Yep.
and she is incredible. Like she is like out there and constantly. I'm literally at one of her shows right now with Luke Gallows,
Really?
and I'm sitting in the parking lot in my car just so I can do this podcast. So while she's in there wrestling,
I
but
appreciate that. If you get a chance to talk to Candy Crush, tell her that KG says hello. She was on my podcast. We keep in touch.
definitely.
She's amazing as well. I would love to have your girlfriend on as well. So if she's interested in coming on the podcast, just give her my information.
Well, she definitely would be. She
Yeah,
would
I
definitely
would
be.
absolutely. By the way, tell Candy that although I'm saying hello, I still don't approve of some of her actions in the ring. Just let her know that. David,
Okay, I
again,
will
thank you
let her
so
know.
much. I appreciate that. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. And look, at about 10:30 tonight, we're going to be back on talking about SmackDown. Did we like it? Did we love it? Was it just okay? I don't know. Find out by joining us. Again, thank you. This was an awesome conversation. You enjoy your weekend. I really appreciate that, my friend.
All right, boss. Thank you so much.
Everybody, you guys have a great night.